Every person dies. The 24th of November, 2024. What do you mean the Judaism Messiah does not die? Could you give a reference? His will be the kingship forever. Messiah must not die for this to be true. I understand that. I'm asking about the reference, the source for this quote. Where does it say that in the Bible? Moses died and he was a Messiah. Micah chapter 5:2 seems to be the most quoted. The Talmud also talks about this. Genesis Rabbah chapter 1:4 and chapter 2:4. There is no expectation in Judaism that there will be an era following that of Messiah, as that is when resurrection takes place. Why does this seem similar to the myth of Odin and Valhalla? I don't know. The Messiah is a human. He will die, unless he is lifted up to heaven like Enoch and like Jesus. Jesus will come back to earth, however, and on it he will die, although he is the Messiah. I don't think that it is accurate that a Messiah has to not die. I don't think that it is accurate that a Messiah has to not die. I don't think that it is accurate that a Messiah does not die. I think it's an innovation and addition to the text. Revelation chapter 1:17, when I saw him, I fell at his feet like a dead man. But he placed his right hand on me and said, "Do not be afraid. I'm the first and the last, the living one. I was dead, and behold, now I'm alive, forever and ever, and I hold the keys of death and of Hades." Being dead may not mean non-existence. I'm not saying non-existent. I believe Jesus was alive, but I also believe he was only human, and that he dies. When he says in the video that in Judaism the Messiah does not die, there is no reference provided. What you provided was revelation. It is not from the Old Testament. I'm looking for a text from the Old Testament supporting the idea that the Messiah will not die. Since it says that in Revelations, then why didn't the Jews believe it at the time, that Jesus was dead and then he is alive forever and ever? If there is such a text stating that the Messiah will not die in Judaism, then they had to believe in Jesus after he rose from the dead. However, he says in the video he does not die, which means that he should not have died and then came back to life. Revelation contradicts the video. That's what I see. What do you believe? I believe that Jesus is human. He dies, and everything dies, except for God. But this is not what it is saying when taking it from that perspective. It is like Revelation is confirming that Jesus died and rose from the dead and he lives forever and ever. Because when humans die, their souls live on. I don't believe he died or was crucified. Revelation seems allegorical, or at least if Jesus was speaking in it, it was consoling to the one who was listening or confirming that human souls live on after the body is dead. It does not mean that we live forever. This also confirms the rationality of a second death after being dead in this world. I didn't mention Jesus' name. The reference is for the Messiah from Tanakh. The notion of eternal kingship was Jewish before it was Christian. In fact, Jesus' death is an argument against his messianic nature for rabbis. That's what I'm saying. Jesus is the Messiah, and I do not believe he died yet. He has not died yet, but he will die after his second coming. Forever and ever is always a reference to the life after Judgment Day, the life in paradise. The Messiah will still be a Messiah in paradise, but that does not mean he will not die. All people of Genesis and all biblical figures died. Where do they get this notion that a Messiah should not die? That's a weird misconception that I only heard here. I think that is not true. The 8th of September, 2024. My father died 2 days ago, and my family is not acting as they should in that regard. They are acting as though nothing had changed. They're still having arguments and they're still fighting one another. Stop holding one another in debt for the good that you do to them. Stop thinking that you're better than other people. Stop claiming you want what's good for one another when what you want is what is good for you alone. Stop pretending like you know me. Only Allah knows me. Only God knows me. It is not the children's fault that their parents got divorced, especially if one of the parents dies. How do people block the feelings of sadness and lamentation or mourning? How do people not feel sad when someone they knew for a long period of time leaves the earth? Even if they had a relationship and it ended a long time ago, how can they not feel sadness? Why does getting preoccupied with life make a person less prone to feelings such as grief? Are we even allowed to hold people accountable for not feeling sadness or demonstrating such feelings? Holding people accountable. Does being exposed to too much dead make people less likely to grieve their own dead? Does reading about too much rape, too much crime, make it less likely to affect people if someone they know had been a victim of such a crime? Does listening to crime stories make it less likely to sympathize with people who are real-life victims of similar crimes? I wonder. سبحان الحي الذي لا يموت رب الملائكة والروح